We got
So
this.
good.
So good. So
I could work for Fox. No problem.
Sony. I could work for Sony. I couldn't do Fox.
Just
They
in the
wouldn't have me.
spider, just in the spider department, and not the animated stuff.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing over there in the animated department.
I really thought that maybe they just knew what they in the spider department, but nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, no, a lot of things got greenlit because they knew how to make a banger of an animated movie. And they're like, oh well, they know what they're doing then. Let's keep giving them money.
They're like, psych. Sorry. That's not what we're reviewing today. Keith, you want to get started? Why don't you drop that logo here? I like it. Welcome to the ABINGERS podcast. Where we assemble weekly to binge all things nerd, old and new. You can find us at theabingerspodcast.com. You can find us at Instagram at the ABINGERS podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Threads, wherever you find podcasts and interact with them. You want to help the show freely you can give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice. That goes a long way to getting eyes and ears on the show. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it. We love really nice comments too, especially
they're the best kind
when we flounder. If you want to pay to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/theabingers podcast. $1 a month gets you our Discord. It gets you a little pre-show banter, yeah. But I am Emmy, and I'm just one of your hosts. I've got another host here today, Keith. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so proud of you. You won that like no other. That was incredible.
I won the fuck out of that.
You were like, do I need notes? Do I need to read from a script? You're like, nope, I got this. And you killed it. Nailed it.
Did I okay. Thanks. I'll take it. I'll take the praise.
Dole out praise.
So this week,
yeah,
Brandon's on paternity leave for a little while. Sucker. And while the cat's away, the mice will play. And so Keith and I are doing Daredevil, the 2015 Netflix series. Woo, 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 woo. It's been highly sought after. So spoiler alert, I'll go ahead and get this out of there because I'm terrified I'm going to forget it. Spoiler alert for the show that came out 9 years ago, Daredevil. If you haven't seen it, we're going to spoil at least the first episode. This is episode 1, Into the Ring, that we are going to talk about today.
And you can find it on Disney Plus now. You don't have to have Netflix to watch this. So don't go spending that, whatever it is, $95 a month now for Netflix, unless you really want Stranger Things. You don't need it. You can...
Or Love is Blind.
Or Love is Blind.
You need Love is Blind, let me tell you what.
I keep forgetting it. Every time we juggle, we spin plates.
Yeah,
with
so spoiler alert.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I froze for a minute, so that's why you keep talking. I'm sorry. My internet is just really being awesome today. Really showing its ass. Love it.
Yay.
So yeah, spoiler alert. You can leave now. Come back after you've watched Daredevil episode 1. Season 1, episode 1, Into the Ring. Which I assume is about engagement. No, sorry, that Love is Blind. Dang it.
You haven't seen in the episode yet?
Dang it!
Yeah.
All right, so Keith,
how does this work? Do we normally tell each other what we think of the episode before doing any of the readings?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Annie, what do you think of this episode?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Okay. All right, I'll start. I guess I'll start.
Right.
This is a great first episode. It sets Foggy and Matt up as these like just good dudes. Like they're just good humans. Um, gives a level of stakes and violence that like what we should expect with the show moving forward. It introduces the threat of Fisk without ever showing him. He is a very formidable force in this episode, but not you don't see him yet, which is like the like how in Jaws, like they didn't want you to see too much of the big scary shark because it's like the fear that'll get you.
Yeah, good analogy. Damn, or a simile, I
Overall,
guess.
uh, is that metaphor? No,
Sure.
like I had like so it was a simile. That's what my kids are doing tomorrow without me. It's figurative language. Good luck.
I'm sure that'll be like smooth sailing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I really enjoyed it. If I had one nitpick, it was that it said that there was sexually explicit material and I didn't see enough of that. I think I did see some side boob, but
That's what
that
I was
did
gonna say.
nothing for me.
The only one came to mind was that moment. Yeah, there's not really sexually. I guess they're trying to cover their bases, and this is at a time when maybe Netflix was just trying to cast a wide net and be like, okay, all episodes there might
Have
be
the same
some.
caveats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You might see some side boob. Ooh.
There'll be some side boob, and yep, Karen.
All right, Keith. Dying to
What did
know.
I think?
Yep.
It was so good. It's so good, and it makes me so happy that we're watching it and to go and see the because I'm sure that when I was watching this the first time, I was like, "Oh, he's not even in his Daredevil costume yet. What's going on? Like, hurry up!" And it's like, no, no, no. Enjoy this. I know it's good. I enjoyed the hell out of it the first time. In the end, so it's just a really good pilot. It's a good first step, and it sets the bar high. I couldn't believe that 5 minutes in we were getting, forget sexually explicit content, just like the the stakes are high, the grit, the darkness of what we're dealing with. Like there is human trafficking in the first 10
Yeah.
minutes of the fucking episode. It's like, whoa, okay, this is not what we're used to. Yeah, I think in like Black Widow we saw like a bit of human trafficking going on in the montage at the beginning and like explaining what happened to Nat and her sister, I think, getting separated. But really the MCU doesn't address that kind of reality and that kind of like harsher things that go on in the world. So it was surprising, refreshing, and a little bit of a whoa, holy crap! After such a sanitary kind of blissful existence in the MCU. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Oh yeah. And you have seen the full show before. I would like to let everyone know that I have not. I started the first episode back in December and then we started floating this idea and so I was like I'm going to save it. And
Yeah,
so this is the only episode that I have seen all the way through. Just once
cool.
before I met Charlie Cox, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you met the guy. I still
I
never
did.
met the guy. And
I
you
did.
did you not meet D'Onofrio as well?
I
Not that he's
didn't
in
meet him.
this. Oh, okay.
Spoilers. We already gave her spoiler alert.
The employer.
The
Yeah,
employer, yes.
yeah.
No, I didn't meet him, but I was in a panel that had both of them, so I was breathing the same air basically.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. And you were like
And I,
sucking it up ever extra hard, like like hoping to
yeah,
get some of their air. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's fair.
that's what I do. I suck it up hard.
Oh no. What have I
Oh,
said? Hope we're not
so you
bunch of
wanna
people listening. All right.
guess oh no,
Rotten Tomatoes? Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but you came back.
some
You
Rotten
good?
Tomatoes.
Okay, Rotten
Yeah, I know.
Tomatoes.
I can work with it as long as I'm coming back within a little bit.
I'm gonna guess the Rotten Tomatoes score on this show. I've never
And this is
looked that up.
overall.
Overall, yeah, we can't go episode to episode. I'm gonna guess it's around, I want to say like a hopeful like 78 or yeah, I'm gonna say that because it's still probably, I hope it's higher than that, but yeah, 78.
All right. So critics gave it 92%.
Yes, good.
Yes.
Oh God, I've gotten so jaded.
I know, right? Audiences have it at 89%, IMDb at 8.6, and 86% of Google users like this show. And
Nice.
IMDb does break it down by episode. And so for
Ooh,
episode 1, it has an 8.4. And I did look,
nice.
Rotten Tomatoes will sometimes break it down by episodes too, but
Mhm.
this one did not have its own individual score. So
Fair enough.
that's that's pretty good. And it's held up. Like this is a 9-year-old show and it's still that high.
Hmm. That is impressive. Yeah, it's
And
one of those things. It's like it's kind of a no-brainer to not only bring back Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, but also just make it canon. Make it. You should have made it part of the MCU to begin with.
yeah.
So I'm glad that they've sorted that out and made the right decision. So fingers crossed that the new Daredevil series gets the same kind of vibe right to try and match that same recipe. Do you want to hear a little bit about the showrunner of this show?
Of course, yeah. I know nothing.
So the series showrunner is named Drew Goddard, and he's a writer behind projects like The Martian, Bad Times at the El Royale, The Cabin in the Woods. But he got his start writing on a lot of TV, writing several episodes on a bunch of different shows, including Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Alias, and Lost. So he's been connected to critically acclaimed TV shows for a long time. So it makes sense that he would be able to produce something so cool. And he just
Mhm.
had that dark tone right. And it feels like a time when a showrunner meant a lot more than maybe a lot of the MCU stuff that we get. It's nice to see it does seem like it's kind of returning back to that with some of the MCU Disney Plus shows is you feel like the showrunner has a lot more say, and that's important because it's one person's vision. It's a lot easier to filter through one person instead of just a hodgepodge of opinions.
Mhm. No, completely
Yeah,
agreed. That's quite a resume there.
yeah. Have you seen any of those shows? Have you seen Alias? I've never seen Alias.
I've never seen Alias. I have seen Lost, but that was like back when it came out,
Yeah,
and that was I was eating it up when it came out, but looking back on it, it was a bit of a clusterfuck.
I was a big Lost fan, probably for I don't know when did it come out? Probably I think 2004. I was
Yeah.
watching it on repeat, like a big fan of the way that it was written and the way that it would focus in on each character really well in certain episodes. I thought that the style of the way it was chaptered up like that was really smart. Um, Going back and looking at it now, I think I've seen too many other good series come out since that I'm comparing it to that it's a little hokey, a little cheesy at times that I'm like, it's harder to go back, but I'll still look at it with fond memories of a time when I could watch that on repeat way back. But Buffy, the same thing with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm a huge Buffy fan, nerd. So
Never
to hear
watched
that he
it.
got his start on that was fun.
Yeah.
And there's good seasons of Buffy's and bad seasons of Buffy, but we won't get into that. We're here to talk about Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Always.
Which I think I've
Right.
said Deadpool instead of Daredevil while talking to my friends like 6 times this week.
They do
For
both start with
trying
D.
to, like,
D's
damn
nuts.
it, we walked right into it,
Yep.
and it was all you. Damn
Yep.
it. How how would you like to proceed? Would you like me to just start into the description of the episode, frame by frame?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay,
Let's do
so the
it.
first frame of the show, there's this scene happening where there's some kind of car crash, and I think there's a thing in the corner, the top right corner is like a street lamp, and then in the bottom left corner, I think there's like a car turned over.
Yes. Yes. This
Uh,
is professional.
and
This is the way we're doing this. All right.
the next frame has a little bit more going on. I think you see a little bit more of the street lamp and a little bit less of the car because the cameras move. But no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So we see a man run up to the scene of a car accident to find his 9-year-old son, Matt, amidst an overturned truck carrying chemical waste. We find that Matt was saving an old man from being hit by the truck and pushing him out of the way, but in the process, his eyes were splashed with the chemicals, and we see the moment his vision is taken from him, and he cries out as his father struggles to comfort him, smashing to our opening titles.
You saying that I didn't, and I've seen this twice now. I didn't. I just thought that there were hazardous materials out in the middle of Hell's Kitchen, and I was gonna ding them as the health inspector. that they were improperly stored. I didn't
Mm.
realize that they were on the back of a truck. Also, probably not the proper place for them to be, but I definitely didn't catch that it was on the truck.
It's okay. I've seen this episode twice now, and I'm realizing that this summary that I've written had the opening titles in the wrong place. This actually comes later. So let's completely ignore that. Those who watched it and then listened to this are going to call me out. So stop it. Stop right
Yeah.
there.
He
I
called
called
himself
myself
out.
out. Yeah.
There you
But what did you think of this harrowing origin moment for at least one of the many things going on with Daredevil, his blindness?
I so we watched the other Daredevil, the Ben Affleck movie, uh recently, and so that's still in my recent memory. It hasn't gone yet, like what I had for breakfast or what kid I sent out of class today. Like it's something that happened today. But
To
I
go get
like
you breakfast.
yeah. um but I liked this origin better than the movie, even though it's very similar. But I did really like the way that the camera looks through Matt's eyes and his vision
Yeah,
goes. He like sees his dad and then it just darkens. I thought that was a
agreed.
really cool touch.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like it just feels more special the way that they're doing certain camera angles, cinematography in this show. It's very clever. It's one thing. It's a name I'm going to look up before episode 2 is who the cinematographer was on this first season because they throughout the episode have a lot of cool tricks that they do to convey things that yeah the movie with Ben Affleck had a bit of a blueprint to lay out and say here's how a Daredevil movie could go, feel free to do the same or do something better. And it's like, we're going to do something better. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. So now we are in 2015. Matt visits Hell's Kitchen Church, the church's father attended and used to take confession. He tells the priest, Father Paul Lantom, about his father's record as being tough as oak boxer, and how sometimes Jack would let the devil out on his opponents. Um, he says that every now and then he'd get hit and something would snap. And my grandmother used to say that the Murdoch boys, they've got the devil in them. And you'd
Mm-hmm.
see it sometimes in the ring. His eyes would go dead. He'd start walking forward real slow, hands at his side like he wasn't afraid of anything. And the other guy, he'd see that look and he'd try to get away from him. And now my dad, he'd catch him, he'd trap him in a corner, and he'd let the devil out. I didn't understand back then what he was feeling deep inside. I didn't understand it, not back then. The father asks him, "But you understand it now?" And he says, "I'm not seeking penance." Or he says, "Maybe it would help me if you explain to me what you've done." He says, "I'm not seeking penance for what I've done, Father. I'm asking forgiveness for what I'm about to do." What did you think about
That's not how
that?
this works. Oh, listen.
Yeah. He's like, okay, come back when you know what Catholicism is, man.
um, I am a nosy ass bitch. I would love to sit in on confession. Absolutely love it. I want to know. Tell me all your dirty little secrets. Ah,
So that's
please.
enough for you to go for your priesthood. You're like, I am just
Mm-hmm.
nosy. I could live on the gossip for years. So many
Yeah.
dinners.
Does
Tell
that
everyone.
means you have to be celibate though, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna set up like a glory hole confessions, just like in the bathroom of a bar.
And people go there, they see a glory hole, and you say, no, we've repurposed it. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. Don't put your penis in it.
Yeah. No, I'm not looking for that. I'm just tell me what you
Just
may or may not have beaten
whisper.
today, and yeah, whisper sweet nothings. Oh no, I
Sweet.
think you froze again. All right, wait. I hear you, and you're
Yeah,
back.
I'm
All
still
right.
here.
Excellent. So the
Um,
father asks him, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's all. Nope. That's it. Oh,
Um,
no, nope, sorry. Nope. Now you
what do
know
your
what
notes
Brandon
say?
feels. Dad
Oh,
was
it's
never
okay.
knocked out.
Yeah.
I think that that's an important, and I think you see it later in the episode that he's trying very hard to be like his dad and not
Mhm.
ever get completely knocked down. He's living up to that. He's stepping into those shoes.
Yeah, because as a guy, like you can say that he has superpowers, and yes, I suppose he does in the sense that he's very hyper aware. His senses are all strengthened. And you'll find out more and more about what his training after being blinded has taught him. But beyond that, he's essentially a non-super powered person, so he really has to come at it with the kind of, don't give up and be persistent and have just the most durability and endurance that you can have. So a man with no fear, that's what they call him, the man with no fear. So all
Yeah.
right, you ready for the next scene?
Oh yeah.
We're about to see that man with no fear. So
Yeah.
that night at the docks, a gang of human traffickers are loading women into shipping container. This scene was a quick reminder to me of how dark this show is, because human traffickers, something we don't see, like I said earlier, in the MCU, it's very rare. So he then shows up in the black suit, the man in black outfit, as it gets to be called later, and he lets the devil out on these 4 to 5 guys, letting that extra bit of beating on that last guy who kind of tries to take a shot at him. We smash
And at the
to what?
girls.
Yes, and he does. Yeah, he kind of like snaps at them a little bit to get them to run away. He doesn't want to be identified, but yeah, he saves them and
Oh well, no,
releases
the
them.
guy I think was trying to shoot one of the girls. He's
Oh,
aiming.
was
I
he?
think
That's what.
he's just kind of like, I don't care who I kill now. I'm just gonna fucking
Mhm,
do it.
mhm. He's like, oh, I'm mad now. You beat up all my men.
Yeah.
What did you think of this fight scene? They use parkour. They show that he, even though he's blind, he's like bouncing billy clubs off of shipping containers and hitting people exactly. Like, what do you think?
Okay. Human trafficking is so disgusting. I absolutely
It's yeah,
oh,
fucked up.
like that is like the lowest level of hell
Mhm.
is reserved for those people. That is worse, I think, almost than murder sometimes. Not that there's a hierarchy of crimes, but like that is fucking terrible.
Right, because I understand the feeling behind that, because if murdering someone, that their life is over, as opposed to torture and the life that this
Mm-hmm.
person would have in human trafficking. I understand the feeling 100%.
So I watched Last Week Tonight with John Oliver
Yeah.
on HBO. And this past week, actually, he had a segment about scammers, like people who, like the people that I like to fuck with, who like will text you and be like, "Oh, you look pretty. Can we be friends?" And then like eventually, it's this whole thing, and the whole special, the whole bit is on pig butchering, which is basically they get and form a relationship with you, and then they get you to invest in something that seems really legit. Anyway, um, at the end of it, he was saying that these people who are doing this and creating these profiles, most of
Yeah.
the times are not the people behind it. They are actually human trafficked. Like those people who are scamming people are not getting any of the money. They're working for free in horrible conditions. Like, but yeah, anyway, it just put a different spin on how I see those scammers and
Yeah.
made me feel sorry for the scammers, which they're not truly the scammers in some
And
instances.
yeah, there's a much darker level and layer behind it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just for not just for perverts anymore. It's also
Hmm.
for awful, horrible human beings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's
thought this was violent, which I enjoyed
yeah.
when I don't normally.
Yeah,
Maybe
because
I am enjoying it.
who do you want to see get beat up more than human traffickers? Let's be honest. There's like
Yeah.
that's a short list of people. You've picked the best people that we want to see get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, way to set the bar.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Like nobody's gonna root against a human trafficker getting his ass
oh,
or
you've frozen again,
bones cracking.
and you're
There were
back.
points where you heard bones cracking.
Mm-hmm.
I love how gracefully they show. He was like a ass kicking gazelle,
Yes.
just
Yes.
so graceful.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool.
Yeah, the fight, the few people I've seen critique the scenes or critique the series on its fight choreography, that know a bit of fight choreography themselves, are saying that it's messy and in a good way. Like it's gritty, it's hard hitting, and it's a person who is bringing out every possible trick they have to win the fight, and it's because he technically comes at a disadvantage, but at the same time, you wonder where the disadvantage is when he's so damn good. But he's not pulling any punches. He's not stopping himself, and he's not second guessing anything that he's doing. He's kicking the shit out of these guys, and he's doing it quick and seamlessly. All with his bare hands. Again, no gun.
Yeah.
Superpowers really, but yeah, a lot of great karate and parkour.
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 Parkour. It's one of the greatest scenes in all of television.
It is when he jumps into the fucking box that he thinks has got a refrigerator in it, and he just dives right in. Okay, so now we are introduced to Foggy Nelson. He runs into Officer Mahoney while walking his beat and gives him some cigars for his mother, Bess, explaining that they are up-and-coming defense attorneys and that they'd really appreciate it if he sent some cases their way if he hears anything. They've known each other since they were 4 years old, so he's got a history with this officer, even though the officer knows that he's being bribed and doesn't really want Foggy to keep bringing cigars to his mom. But yeah, Mahoney says, stop giving my mom cigars, and Foggy goes on his merry way. He does set this up with a phone call with Matt saying, "I gotta go bribe a cop." So, what did you think of this scene? Did you like Foggy right off the bat?
I want to know what you thought first, because you've been asking me, and I want to know your thoughts first this time.
I am so happy when okay, so Jon Favreau, I love Jon Favreau, don't get me wrong, he's great. I think that him playing him in the Ben Affleck Daredevil really didn't do the character as much justice as this character does. I love this actor. I grew up watching him in like The Butterfly Effect and The Mighty Ducks and stuff, and it's so cool to see him acting still and not really playing like a tough goon kind of character. He's playing this sensitive, smartass, interested in the money first, and women short after, and like he plays the part well, and it's just this very charismatic character that everybody has a friend like this kind of guy. So I really love Foggy in this series, and to have this be the first time you see him is he's given this cop's mom some cigars, and he doesn't refuse the cigars.
No.
He just says, "Stop giving my mom cigars, but I'll go deliver them to her because you're right, she likes smoking." So
the buck can stop with him, like he can, but he's like, stop it, but don't, I guess. I have a hot take.
Ooh, hit me.
And I don't know him from his other work.
Right,
I love the character of Foggy. I do not think the person who plays him is the best actor.
I see what you mean. I don't think it's too hot a take. I do think he gets better as the series goes on, but there were a couple moments in this episode where I was like, okay, this guy's he's delivering the lines best he can, but he might not be there yet.
Yes. And I think the character is written well. I think everything is there for him if he wants it, and if he does it. He just hasn't done it for me yet. So
I'll be interested to see if we do see a bit of an uptick in his skills as the season goes on. If not episode 2, because this first episode being kind of the first time he's ever getting a chance to play this guy, maybe he's not that comfortable yet. But yeah,
that's
crossed.
fair. That was rude of me to call him out on the pilot. Okay, all right.
No. That's
I'm a bitch. It's okay.
No. Your opinions are valid. That's a good point. I did feel it. I think there's some lines where him and Matt are sparring back and forth, and you do see a bit more skill from Charlie Cox as just an actor in general in the scenes. It would be probably pretty tough to act next to him and not be schooled a little bit.
Yeah. I also, so initially watching this, I was like, ooh, was the incident that I think it is, or was it something else? And so I did have to Google it because I wasn't sure if a show is not canon, is it allowed to reference things that are canon, which I should have known because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., after Thor the Dark World, they had like a whole thing. Sif has been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I should have known that. But yeah, so
Oh
It
no,
was.
it's a labyrinth with the legalities of what they're doing
Mm-hmm.
and what they were doing at the time. I think when they were making this show, they had every right and every intention to expand upon it and make it part of the MCU, and I think that that just didn't end up happening at the time frame that they were expecting to begin
That
with.
yeah.
So I think that they were thinking, okay, we're part of this universe. We won't touch on it too much, and it's kind of the style I hope they do with the Spotlight series going forward is talk about it, sure, but you don't have to then one day meet up with these people. Like you could just take care of your territory and stay in your lane in that way, and that way we'll get a more rich storytelling for those characters instead of trying to shoehorn them into a bigger team or something that doesn't always make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Well made.
Well, thanks. Oh.
The other thing that I have about Foggy particularly, at least he stuck out to me, especially in this scene. I feel like 2015 was a time where we were trying to make, everybody, everything was just this is what it was. Everybody's just normal. And if you've got something that's different about you, it's all fair game. Everybody's on the same playing field. And I think that Foggy, when he's saying, like, oh, it's so unfair, I need to get the blind game going. And that was like, that was that point of just like a touch too far. Like it's like, oh, being blind is fine. It's so fine. We can make fun of it. And it just kind of like, I was like,
Yeah.
scoot back just a little bit and like, just off the gas pedal just a bit. Just very, like trying too hard to make it seem just like okay and
Okay, for him
normal.
to
And
joke
like,
about, yeah.
it is, and it should be treated as such, but
Yeah.
not, I don't know. Just the way that they went about it was almost too much.
I hear you. Yeah, this was on the conversation on the phone with
Mhm.
Matt beforehand. Yeah, I think that and in watching several things since certain developments in just online culture, especially, you'll see, like, yeah, sensitivity in general to certain, just understanding what other people are going through and being a little bit more open-minded in general doesn't really kick in until probably after the Me Too movement, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That thing started for not just women, it was for everybody. Like, it
I mean,
really opened people's minds to think before we speak, think before we joke. Let's be a little bit more cautious of that stuff. But yeah, I think that Foggy's character, he gets away with it because he is a little bit less mature than Matt, and also just
yeah.
has known him for so long. But if he's talking to anybody else, I think he would stand up for Matt before anybody else got to make a joke. He's one of those friends. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
allowed to, but you can't, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
and I
understand.
guess as an audience looking in on that, like it made me feel just like slightly uncomfortable. Like I was like, "Ooh, bro, that's a bridge just a bit too far." But
Yeah,
no.
yeah. And it
But
was what was
yeah, I don't know
the
their
remark?
friendship.
Was it all to impress women or something? I forget what the comment
So
was.
yeah, he was talking about how like the real estate agent was real homely and like she's not
Oh,
yeah, he said all that and then it was like it's not fair, man. You've got the blind thing going for you. It's just so unfair. It was just it like which I mean honestly like probably a bit of a positive to like be using it as a strength, as a positive or to be
true.
formulating it in that way. But
Yeah,
also I don't know. It was weird footing for me.
yeah, that's
Maybe that's
fair.
a me thing.
No, I know, I get it. And I totally missed it for some reason too. Um, okay, so Matt meets up with Foggy, and they sign a lease for the small office. The property dealer Susan introduces herself and holds her hand out for Matt to shake, and then clues in later that he cannot see that she's done that, and then curtsies. And Foggy explains this to him, and this is a regular thing that we get from Foggy and Matt in their dynamic. Is Foggy's explaining to him in a charming way that this is what this person's just done in front of him, and he's filling him in on the details. So she's curtsied. It was adorable. And Matt says it's nice to know that chivalry is not dead. She walks him around the room, explaining that they'll get a good deal on this place because of the damage from the incident. And yes, they are referring to the Battle of New York. Despite the prices being a quarter of what they used to be, Foggy still haggles for a lower price because they'll be staring at scaffolding and cranes and repairing all the damages in Hell's Kitchen. And Matt is a little bit more impulsive than Foggy and very confident that they'll be able to afford the office. So he says, we'll take it. And now we get to hear Foggy and Matt's differences on the type of clients they would like, because Matt believes that they will be defending only the innocent, and Foggy says, well, innocent until proven otherwise, as the law states. So Foggy's ready to take whoever the hell he wants, or whoever they can get.
Yeah. I feel like Foggy at one point, whenever the real estate broker is leading Matt around, like, I feel like in his head he was like, yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the magic touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that was really cute, and it does show that Foggy is a supportive friend, and like she curtsied. It was adorable. That's really sweet.
What are you thinking about Charlie Cox? How does he look in this role already? Like, he's this just super smooth talking, saying that it's nice to see chivalry is not dead. I can't say the word chivalry to save my life, clearly. Chivalry is not dead.
It's a hard one.
He's a charmer, though.
Oh yeah, and he's fine as hell. So chivalry timbers. That was bad.
No, that was gold.
Brandon, we need you back.
Brandon, you need to tell her how shitty that was. But I will. Until then, I'm gonna say it's gold because that was funny. Cut to a woman in an apartment holding a knife dripping with blood, knelt in front of a body bleeding out on the carpet. Police bust in and arrest her as she tearfully pleads that she's innocent. Officer Brett Mahoney, that we saw earlier with the cigars, calls Foggy, just like he hoped, and gives them the heads up. And we get the name of the arrested person. It is Karen Page. What did you think of that knee-jerk turn in the episode?
I could not. I was like, where do I know her from? Where do I know her from? Where do I know her from?
Did you figure it out?
I did. Do you know her from something?
True Blood?
Yeah, True Blood. I want to do bad things to you. Yeah.
That's a show I will never be able to convince my wife to watch because it is so sleazy, but I love that show. It's so
sleazy. Suck it.
In the best ways. It's so silly. It's satire. It's fun.
Yeah. It's and I'm sorry, the ending. I used to read those books back when I was in like high school. Like the books that True Blood is based off of. They were also absolute terrible, and they were a little smutty.
That sounds about right for what I saw on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the show will always be, even on HBO, a watered down version. I think it was HBO.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
Karen Page. Yeah, Deborah Ann Wall, I believe her name is, and she played Jessica. I want to say.
Handy.
Yeah, the brand new vampire, the young vampire in town. And she didn't know a damn thing about what she wanted as a vampire, but she knew that she was very inexperienced and just wanted a dude. What's his name? Holt. What the hell was the name of the guy that she?
Holt sounds right. I was looking at it last night because I was like, who? Because I thought she started out as a server. She didn't though.
Yeah, I think she was like I think her family was attacked or something, and she was the only one turned or something. Yeah, if I remember, but.
Anyway. Spoilers for True Blood. That's next. After Daredevil, we're going into the next Punishers, Defenders. What is this? We're not Punisher. That's good Lord. It's okay. I don't do this for a living.
I was gonna say they show up to meet her in the interrogation room and demand that they remove her handcuffs. Matt introduces them and asks to sit down. Foggy lets him know that Karen gave a shrug, so they just go with it. They ask her what happened, but she seems very suspicious. Who the hell are these guys? Why did they just show up out of nowhere? So they just start talking. They tell her what they know. They say that basically the facts, that she was found in her apartment with Daniel Fisher, who appears to be the victim of a homicide, and that she is currently the only suspect. She simply asks, who the hell are you guys? He says, I'm Matt. He's Foggy. Who sent you? No one sent us. So you're a couple of good Samaritans? Foggy chimes in and saying that he bribed the desk sergeant with a box of cigars. Matt explains that their practice is relatively young and they're aggressively pursuing new clientele, and then tells Foggy to stop buying Best cigars. Foggy says she likes to smoke. It's a free country. Karen asks them how long they've been practicing law. Matt asks Foggy, what time is it? And they say, it's been about 7 hours. Foggy says, we should go from when we passed the bar. But Matt says, oh, I was going from when we got our own desks. Foggy says, 7 hours. So what do you think of their banter? But this is where I think they shine best, when they're together in the same room. Yeah.
100% totally agreed. I enjoyed this. The setup to the murder was like, oh my gosh, what has happened here? Like, bitch, you did it. All signs point to red flag right here. You murder.
Yeah. Should be a clean and cut case. Is that what they say? Clean cut?
Clean.
Open and shut case.
Open and shut.
That sounds more familiar to me.
Yeah.
Let's not start making up legal sayings on the fly. What else do you think of this scene? Should I continue?
I love them together. I do think that they've shown, as you said, together. I think that my hot take I will take back a little bit, just because of how well they interact together. It seems like that friendship between the actors is going to only get better as the show progresses, and I'm excited to see that reflected on screen.
I think you're right. And I think that there's a certain moral backbone that Matt has that Foggy doesn't, and Matt kind of leads like a lighthouse. He kind of like shows Matt the right way, or not. No, Matt shows Foggy the right way.
Yeah.
To be a good lawyer. Just a hero.
Yeah. Whenever she says, I don't have any money, and Foggy gets up and says, okay, well, it's been nice meeting you.
And then Matt presses on. He says, you don't have money and we don't have any clients. Maybe we can help each other. And he continues to question her about the case. Karen explains that she and the victim, Daniel Fisher, worked for a construction firm called Union Allied. He seemed nice, and it's hard to meet people in the city, so she asked him out for a drink. After a few drinks, she says the next thing she remembers is waking up in her apartment with him dead in front of her, and a moment before the police arrived. So she doubles down on her insistence that she is innocent and knows how it looks. Matt listens to her heartbeat and can tell that she's telling the truth, and says, I believe you, Miss Page.
Love it.
It's pretty cool way to show that, right?
Yeah. Pretty cool way. There were moments when he would do that too, and it like the focus was going in and out. So I felt like, again, the cinematography was really cool, like kind of showing us like an unfocused version of the events that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you hear him, when you see him like listening in on the heartbeat of the person he's talking to, you hear like a lot more of an echo when they speak, and like there'll be like a blur around the rest of them where their eyes will be in super focus.
Yes.
And it'll be,
yes.
That was really cool.
Yep. Yeah. Much better than the rooftop scene in the Ben Affleck movie where he's like, it's like I can see you, or whatever the fuck he says.
I haven't seen that in so long. Should I go back and watch it before continuing this series?
Were you weren't on the?
No.
Was that Clinton?
That was definitely Clinton. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I get my white guys mixed up.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. We should do it again. No.
It's okay. Yeah, I'd rather remember Daredevil correctly. This is the best version. So yeah, she says, he says, I believe you, Miss Page. And then we cut to a man having lunch in the park is approached by a stranger in a nice suit. He sits down next to him and tells him a random number, approximately 29,000. The man says, tell Rigoletto he'll get his money. The suit explains Rigoletto has retired and his books have been acquired by his employer, and he wants to show him something. The suit opens up a tablet showing him a live feed of the man's daughter at college, and asks the man to call her so he knows it's a live feed. He shows that there's a man sitting 10 feet away, an assassin named Mr. Rance. He says to the guy that this man's methods are very unpleasant. And essentially, he's telling him that she'll be killed if he doesn't do what they ask. He's not interested in getting his debt repaid. He's interested in the man's position. Your first time watching this, not knowing what happens next, was this scene like, who the fuck are these guys? What was going on?
Okay, my first inclination, as soon as that guy sits down on the same side of the picnic table, I'm like, you are the worst kind of person. You are awful. And
I
had that
agree.
been a booth, first of all, like that would have been a little bit more, I don't know, formidable
Mm,
to like trap him in there. The guy
yeah.
can escape out the other side. And also, the people who sit on the same side of the booth that are a couple and they're like, you know, and it's just, you don't have to be that close 24/7. There's not an
Yeah.
umbilical cord connecting you two.
True.
Promise.
My wife and
And
I don't do it for that very reason. We cut the umbilical cord a long time ago. It's all good.
congratulations at the
Thank you.
wedding.
Yeah.
Was,
It was part of
was
the
it part of the
ceremony. Yeah.
ceremony?
Yeah. We do it weird up here. Yeah.
um but no, I absolutely hate when I see that. I think
Yeah.
that it would be more menacing had he sat across from him, so you can look directly in his eyes and not do like the weird like couples like glance over, like I don't it was just, that was, the guy made choices, they were weird fucking choices. that was that was what I got out of that scene. I mean,
I
scary,
sorry.
but
Yeah,
also
yeah, no, very foreboding gentleman in the suit. Do you want me to tell you that guy's name, or would you rather me just keep calling him the suit for the rest of the episode?
does you telling me his name ruin anything?
No.
Then tell me his name. I'll
Okay.
forget it.
His name is his name is Wesley.
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 I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
He
anybody.
comes up a lot, and I will just change. I'll hit replace all in my document that I have here, and replace the suit with Wesley.
I think, no, I'm sorry. We should keep calling him the suit because that's less ridiculous than Wesley.
uh, all Wesleys that are listening right now, I
No,
want you to. I'm not upset if you got to change to another podcast that covers this
no.
show.
I'm
9 years after the show came out.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. Whenever I hear the name Wesley, I think of, have you ever watched Nailed It with Nicole Byer?
Oh yeah,
Oh, when she calls the assistant, Wes. Oh,
Wes.
Wes.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
Love,
that's what
used to
I
love that
think
show.
of. Me too. Still do. I
I don't know
love
why I
Nicole
couldn't
Byer.
like I didn't continue watching it. I don't know if it just became like the same thing, different day or something. But we yeah, my wife and I watched the first like 2-3 seasons religiously. It was great.
It's sometimes when you get in the mood for it, it's nice to
Mhm.
like binge a few and then come back to it when you get in the mood for it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of fell off of it too, but I still love it. I could be on that. I should be on that show.
Oh
I live
yeah.
in that
Oh,
show.
I would fuck up a cake like no other. Hell yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to eat it.
Oh my goodness, I ate all the ingredients. Oh no. Whoops.
I
I
showed
was
you
trying
guys
to
the
make a cake in my stomach. Um
no, I showed you guys in the Discord at least. I tried to make, my friend had a birthday and I made her a penis shaped cake, and she loves Lily Pulitzer, and so I tried to make it Lily Pulitzer. It was awful. It looked like germs and amoebas. She is a science teacher, so the theme fit.
oh nice.
We just
Well,
kind of
that's a
went with
lucky
that.
streak. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, everybody else knew I was trying to Lily Pulitzer a penis. I did not. It did not work out.
I think that's an album name for sure if you come out with one.
Hell yeah.
Um, so meanwhile, at Nelson and Murdoch, Matt is convinced that something's amiss. If the case against Karen is so open and shut, why are the police dragging their feet on charging her? Why haven't any news outlets reported on the crime? Foggy says that Matt doesn't have the best judgment when beautiful women are involved. Matt asks, how would he even know if they're beautiful? Foggy admits he doesn't know. It's kind of spooky, actually. But if there's a stunning woman with questionable character in the room, Matt Murdoch is going to find her, and Foggy Nelson is going to suffer. Matt says he needs him to back him on this hunch anyway. And Foggy suggests that if she's not guilty, it doesn't exactly mean that she's telling the truth. What did you think of this? Got any
Again, yeah.
notes?
No. No, I have no
I
notes
should
on this.
wait for
It
you
was
to be
just,
like, I'm like waiting for like a wave me down because I'm looking to my right.
oh no,
But
you're fine. No, I mean it's them being friends, being tee hee haha. Like, oh, Matt's got away with girls. Tee hee haha. Is that how men do? It's I imagine when they have slumber parties, it's tee hee haha.
man, I used to tee he and haha with so many slumbies. Don't even get me started.
Slumbies.
That's all we'd be doing. The parents would have to come down and say, "Hey, a little less tee." And you guys aren't even ha-haing that hard. So I mean,
Yeah.
here's an ice cream cake.
Yeah.
But
they're just brought out, and it's more of Foggy being the like, oh, you have a way this way with girls, and you know what? Now that I'm kind of even talking myself out of it a little bit, that like it's more that Foggy is jealous of his charm and charisma.
he's jealous of his boogie, and rightly
Yes.
so. Charlie Cox and Matt Murdock. My goodness, so
Mm-hmm.
charming, super charming.
I'm jealous
guys.
of the boogie,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to touch it. Nope. I got to stand next to it. I got to stand next to somebody who was standing directly next to it.
Oh my goodness, old pals, you and his boogie. In the middle of the night, Karen is holding her in her holding cell and is attacked by the man we saw eating lunch in the park. He's a cop with access to her cell and tries to make it look like she's hung herself by trying to strangle her with a tied bedsheet in a noose. But Karen fights back. She draws blood right from his eye and manages to scream for help. Was that like piecing that moment together when you understood the guy from the park? Oh shit, he's a cop. What'd you think?
I would assume that he's not a cop. I would assume that he's a correctional officer.
He might just work in the jail section of
Yeah.
this precinct. Yeah, that's possible.
Because he had on a white uniform, and the other cop that has the cigars for his mom was in a different I'm just saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it could be like, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it.
Did you like that visceral violence of just the right in his eye?
Yes, and I also really liked that she employed this is what you're supposed to do when somebody's choking you. You're supposed to act like you passed out so that they let up, and then you can get air and fucking kick their ass, dick punch them, and gouge their eye out.
Hell yeah!
It's like a shark. Do you know how to survive a shark attack? Because I do. I don't know why.
You passed out and then get him in the eye and then get out and scream for help underwater.
You're supposed to boop them in the snoot and then poke their eye out.
Boop them in the snoot. Oh, that means
you're supposed to punch them in the nose.
I was like, I don't know if I can reach a snoot. My goodness. Let alone boop them in one. Okay, so she screams for help, stops the murder, and the next morning, Matt and Foggy meet with the investigating officers in Karen's case, detectives Christian Blake and Carl Hoffman, and demand Karen's immediate release. Pretty aggressively. They say they'll coax Karen to not smear the precinct all over the news and what happened to her in their custody. They point out that if they were going to charge her, they missed their window by about 4 hours, and the security cameras suspiciously went on the fritz just before the assault. They throw around the idea of filing a civil suit against the precinct. Blake gives Matt the death stare while Hoffman whispers something to him, and they agree to call the assistant district attorney for her release. I'll pause there.
And they say a line that I say daily, multiple times a day. Don't make me ask again. Close your Chromebook, please. Don't make me ask again.
Oh my gosh. I looked around for an open Chromebook. I was like ready to close it up. And now she's frozen. See, I never know when she's going to freeze. Yeah. Oh, she's back.
I'm back.
I feel like there is a delay. So when you find out that I've noticed that you're frozen, it's like a good 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Before you're like, yeah, I'm back.
Yep.
There's no way to prevent that. We're in two different countries, you know. The
Yes.
miracle of the
And
internet.
also, I have shit internet. Comcast, get your goddamn fucking act together.
Yeah. Not everything's about
bitches.
Street Fighter. Is that Comcast? Anyways, the someone will get that joke.
Okay.
So Blake gives him the
Capcom.
desk. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Promise. We don't have Comcast internet up here, so every time I hear you say Comcast, I always think Capcom, and I'm like, wait, what the hell's that got to do with internet? Okay. Blake threatens physical violence against Matt, saying, "You take that tone with me again, I don't care if you're blind. I'll kick the shit out of you." Matt doesn't flinch, and Foggy perks up, saying, "Really? We're going there?" The detectives leave, and Matt says it doesn't make any sense. The ADA had everything they needed, and they didn't charge her unless they had too much. Maybe there was evidence of someone else in the apartment, and if she was charged, they'd have to turn that evidence over. But if she died in her jail cell, it all goes away. There you go.
Do you know what ADA stands for?
Assistant District Attorney.
Americans with Disabilities Act. Come on, Keith.
Really?
No. No, sorry. It stands for both.
Oh, okay. I was like, shit, I'm not gonna get hung up on this. I said it earlier, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna say 88 a second time, but no, that damn, my bad.
Yeah, it stands for both. But sorry, I'm sorry. That was just me being an asshole and
you got
fucking
me.
with you.
You're my Foggy Nelson. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's you got all the shit going for you, man. You're Canadian. Like, man, it's not fair.
It's just the same thing. They get her the hell out of there and bring her back to the office. They make it clear that she is to speak to nobody about the details of this case except for them. They agree that she can come back to, or no, sorry. They agree that she can't go back to her apartment. They want to keep her safe, but they want to know more. And Karen admits to knowing why someone might want to frame and kill her. And the construction firm that she worked for, Union Allied, has made millions of off government contracts to rebuild much of Hell's Kitchen. Karen has accidentally emailed a pension file that was actually a ledger for what she presumes was criminal activity. Her boss, Mr. McClintock, laughed off her concerns, so Karen asked Daniel Fisher, who worked in the legal department, to advise her on what to do next. And they met up at a bar to discuss it. Someone drugged their drinks and staged the murder. Blaming herself for Daniel's death, Karen tearfully insists on leaving, not wanting to cause any suffering for Matt or Foggy or anyone else. She breaks down, and Foggy consoles her with a hug, while Matt says that she can stay at his place for the time being.
Well, I guess you don't have anywhere else to go. I guess you could stay at my place. I guess you could I got you could like stay at my place. No,
it's fine if you want to.
Yeah,
if you want to change in front of me, I'm blind. It's totally cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're naked.
Oh, you're naked? Oh, how would I know? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna say it right now. Like I said, I have not seen the full series, but they gonna bang at some point. I'm gonna put that out there.
Matt does have a way with stunning women with questionable questionable character. Yeah.
I am his type. Oh,
there you
stunning.
Go. No. You are his type. Okay. Yeah. So back at Matt's lofty apartment, the color and set design of this place is awesome, by the way. I love this fucking apartment. It's so cool.
It is pretty cool.
And it's such a good layer for a superhero. This is his bat cave. You walk in there and you think, oh, this place is so cool because this guy is blind and he got it cheap and it's huge, but it's also a really cool bat cave. But anyways, he says there's a nice Thai place in the corner, and she asks him if she can turn on the lights. He says he doesn't have often need for them. Go ahead. She says she'll be fine on the couch. Matt explains that from what he understands about his living room, that might not be the case because there's a big electric billboard that hangs right across from his massive windows in his living room because he got a great deal in the apartment because of it. Karen changes into one of Matt's dress shirts right in front of him with no hesitation. They talk for a bit about his blindness. She asks if he remembers what it was like to see. He says that he's supposed to say that he doesn't miss it, that that's what they teach you in trauma recovery, to define yourself by what you have, to value the differences, to make no apologies for what you lack. That's all true for the most part, he says, but that doesn't change the fact that he'd give anything to see the sky one more time. I'll share my thoughts on this scene, this moment, just first because I love that line. Because no matter what he's keeping from her, that still rings true. Because whatever version of his sight that he has with his like biosonar echolocation kind of abilities, he can't see the sky. It's too far away. There's nothing for anything to bounce off of. But he would remember. I'm not saying that as a joke. I know you.
I know. Sorry.
It's too far away. No, but like. He can't. If he like, he could pretty much see everything in town, in the city, because there's so many skyscrapers. There's so much going on for everything to bounce off of. But out there, he has no clue. But he remembers it from when he was 9. So it was a cool moment of vulnerability that I think he kind of might have used for some manipulation in sharing that side of his life, so that she would share a little bit more with him. But,
I completely agree. And I'm sorry I laughed, just because I don't think of the sky as something that is like neither here nor far.
We take it for granted, man. We take it for granted.
But it's also like just infinite and growing infinitely. Like it just keeps going and going, bro.
Yeah, it's out there. I can't reach it. You can't reach it. What's it even made of?
You want
Why
some
is
more?
it blue? Give me a puff of your highlighter.
Oh, they make vapes that look like, well, no, they don't.
Oh yeah,
they look like this.
My wife
now.
has one. Yeah,
like a highlighter.
She doesn't have one that looks like a highlighter, but she does have one that is super cheap and tastes like shit. And she hates it. It makes her cough like crazy. She's like, you know what? Give me a fucking joint, please. Because this hurts. This is like the Tin Man kicked me in the chest. That's what it feels like. I was like, yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, it sucks. Don't go for a vape. Just either smoke it or eat it. Make your own brownies, get some gummies, whatever. Don't do drugs though. It's bad.
Don't
I'm trying to say what Brandon would say.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Try to police us. This goes without saying. I know I made a note, and I'm sorry, and I gotta read it. There's a lot of red. There's a lot of red. I noticed the red. Especially.
You talking about flags?
Well, that probably too, a little bit. Especially the woman who was found with the murder weapon over the murder victim.
She has red hair.
The murder. But her hair is red. But in this scene where they're talking on the couch,
yeah,
it really highlights the red in her hair and also in his hair,
and his glasses,
and his glasses, and it just there's a lot red in Daredevil, lot red theme.
I nearly made the art for our layout right now. All red, and then I was like, oh wait, no, there was some promotional material that was like blue leaning, so that the red would probably shine better with the title being all red, Daredevil. Yeah, anyways, so we got a lot of purple. We're gonna have a lot of purple for the next 3 seasons of Daredevil. So
oh yeah, which looks fantastic, by the way. The artwork, I'm very excited.
Yeah,
and yeah, I think the blue makes the red pop, the red makes the blue pop, the purple makes the purple pop.
It's all popping and locking, man. It's great.
We popping.
So I found this interesting because with all of his special versions of sight, like I say, he can't see this guy. He's showing a little bit more of himself and being a little bit more sincere and vulnerable, coaxing her to kind of share a bit more with him. And then he quickly switches into interrogation mode. After goes to a different seat. They share a cute nod because he says he'd like to ask her some questions. She nods, and then they both pause and laugh because she nodded and she's uncomfortable with the fact that he didn't see that. They laugh. It's adorable. Super sweet. Then he says, here's what I don't understand. I'm the man in charge of the pension funds, and I find out one of my secretaries has discovered illegal activity, and now she's telling people about it, and I can't have that, obviously. So I decide to take action. But why don't I kill you? Karen says they tried. He says, yeah, the second time in the jail, but the first time they left you alive. Why? The second time, maybe that's a change of plan. Something doesn't go their way, something sloppy at the crime scene. Two lawyers show up out of the blue, and before their people can get to you, so they figure, okay, maybe Karen hangs herself in her cell and this thing gets swept under the rug. But the first time, they're not trying to kill you. They're trying to discredit you. They're trying to scare you. And the only reason that they would do that is if you had something that they want. Matt uses his heart listening skills in this moment and notices that Karen's responding a little differently now when posed with this question. He says, I've been
Bitch,
trying to
you
figure
lie.
exactly the human lie detector at work. He says, I've been trying to figure it out, and the only thing that I could come up with is that the Union Allied pension file. No messing around anymore. He's very pointedly asking her, did you keep the file, Karen?
Mm-hmm.
What were you thinking at this moment?
Oh, 100% she kept the file because I, like her, I'm a nosy bitch. I keep the file. You keep the file.
Yeah.
Duh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And his interrogation skills are incredible. And she doesn't know that yet. She just, she's underestimating him, as most people would, and most people do. And so she's just not understanding that he is a human lie detector at this point, and he's already figured out what her heart pace is when she's telling the truth. So he knows immediately when she's lying. And that, like what we said before, the camera changes, the shift of focus is on her eyes, and everything else is blurry, and he's listening. And there's actually a shot where over his shoulder, his ear is in the frame and her eyes are in the frame, and that's when her voice goes super echoey. It's awesome. It's really good. Yeah. What did you think of this interrogation?
Well, okay, first of all, they're sitting on the couch side by side. Suit, take note. And then when he's like, he wants to be interrogator and not, I don't know,
Friend.
Mr. Lover.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes and sits across from her so he can look her in the eyes, which is probably more effective to figure out if somebody's lying, not just the heartbeat and all of that stuff, but like, yeah,
it'd be playing on what she's used to, maybe not what he's used to, but playing on what she's used to is someone facing her is going to be way harder to lie to, at least at a calm heart rate and whatever, because you're zoning in on his reflective sunglasses that he's got. Anyway, despite the fact that he's blind, she's not going to stop looking at the guy's eyes, right? So yeah, she's put in a place of confusion and easily slips up, and she says no. She goes on to say that her boss took it away from her.
Don't make me ask again. Sorry, that's habit.
She explains too much. She gives away her hand. She over explains like someone does when they're lying. That her boss took it away from her. The IT guy wiped the computers. A part of her really wishes she kept a copy of it, but she guesses she's just not that smart. And he gently smiles and says, "Oh, well, it was just a thought." And she seems to calm a bit, thinking that she's kind of tricked him. And he sits back and takes a sip of his drink, and they sit in silence together. And that's how that scene ends.
Not with explicit material. I'll tell you that right now.
They didn't have sex? Is that what you're saying?
Not this scene. Not yet.
Oh, yeah. When does that warning come into play? What the hell's going on?
I want it violent and sexual. God.
Not in the same. Yeah. You keep them separate hands. Violent and sexual. Don't put those hands together.
Don't put them together. Don't. Well, I mean, maybe a little, like,
Well, it was on Netflix, so.
Little spankies.
They do say that that's the devil's streaming service.
Netflix.
Yeah, that was a big back when Netflix first started out. That was a big controversy. Controversy was
that's Netflix where the devil watches his shows.
The bad one. Yeah, that's it.
Oh. The devil endorses Netflix.
Okay, we cut to a disparate group of new faces that we can assume are all pretty much criminals meeting on a rooftop in an under construction high-rise building. Do you want me to give you the rundown on who these characters are, or would you rather me read them without really... What do you want? Do you want to know who these people are one by one, or...
Okay, I'm gonna ask the same question. Does it spoil anything for me to know the names? Like, do you want to give me names so that we can actually call them by names? Because if we're
I
gonna,
mean, they do one by one introduce themselves in a very superficial, like super veneer, quick way. You do learn their names in this scene. It's just not super pronounced, like who the fuck these people are is all. Same as Wesley. Like it's kind of like it's just assumed that this is the guy who works
background
for.
goon.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you who
Okay.
I think these people are,
Okay.
and
I like that.
you can tell me if I need more context. So I think
Deal.
that her name is Mrs. Gao, who speaks
Madam.
Mandarin.
Yes,
Madam,
you're right.
Madam Gao.
Yep.
Okay, not not Madam Web, not her,
No.
not
No.
her.
No. Never
No.
her.
But
Not
yeah,
this version.
she runs a basically more awful version than a sweatshop because it's all people who have been blinded by, I'm assuming her.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, she probably had some kind of part in putting the orders through to have these people purposefully blinded for secrecy's sake.
Yeah.
For
And it's not,
some kind
yeah, it's not a sweatshop. It's a drug
yeah,
deal.
yeah. I've got
Um,
it written down as a drug operation.
drug deal. Yeah, drug deal just seems like one singular. This seems like it is an operation. It's not just one. um, and then you've got the two Russian guys who were in the human trafficking.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
We're gonna call them Mudak and Mudik. Because they call
There,
someone in this
I think.
episode.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think their names, and I could have the second one's name wrong, but Vladimir and I want to say Anatoly, and
Oh,
they are
okay.
brothers, and they are Russian. Yes,
Well, I now know them as only Mudak and Mudik.
Mudak and Mudik. All right.
At one point, one of them calls someone Mudak, which I did look up, and in Russian that means dickhead or asshole. So two opposite ends of the body, or two,
Very interesting. Opposite.
not opposite, I guess. Well, one's the front hole, one's the back hole.
That's very true. Some could look at that as like two sides of the same Lego.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. Um, and then you've
Who
got
else?
the guy. You've got the guy. Okay, all right. I am very sorry.
That's all right.
So
You only got one
I had
episode under your belt. It's okay.
I had to stop watching Chernobyl, the show that was on HBO or Showtime,
Hmm.
wherever it was, because
Hmm.
all of the dudes look the same to me. I think there is a point when I have facial blindness with dudes.
Hmm.
And so at first, that guy in the glasses who's complaining about the cold, I
Hmm.
thought it might be Mr. Furnham. And then I was like, nah, he'd had to have a bandage over his eye or something. But
Yeah.
I did get
Yeah.
confused there because I was like,
This
who the
guy,
fuck is this
this
guy?
guy,
He's
his name is Leland Owlsley, and he
okay
is he's in charge of the numbers. He's in charge of the finances.
at Allied
Mhm.
Union Allied.
Well, in general for the employer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Who we don't
I
know.
think
No.
I think Union Allied. Yeah, we don't know who that could be, but Union Allied, I think, is one department of the overall crime syndicate going on here. But Leland takes care of the money and makes sure that none of it is. He launders it. He makes sure that none of it traces back to the employer.
Gotcha. Okay. And then you have the other guy who is Japanese.
Huh?
Um and
What's
we
your
see
best
him
guess at his name?
at the very end of the episode. It's probably I don't speak Mandarin, you racist fuck. Is that his name?
A good guess. His name is Nobu. And
Nobu.
yes, you're right. Leland does make a quick assessment and misjudgment that, oh, I can't understand what Madame Gao is saying. Do you know? And the Russians, good for the Russians being there to correct him and make him a little bit more PC. Is like, this is, he is Japanese. She is Chinese. And he's just like, well, I'm not saying, oh, pardon me, or whatever. Yeah, Leland's a bit of a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But
you
I
got him
we
all.
see him at the end of the episode and I have completely forgotten what he does. You see him. He's in a white suit jacket. I can see his face, but what he's doing is completely beyond me.
Nobu, he's in I think it's just a white dress shirt in front of him. He might even have his jacket, a black jacket, still on. I can't. You're right. He might be Colonel Sanders fully in a white suit jacket, but he is looking over some blueprints.
Yes. And it's of New York
in Hell's Kitchen.
And then he's got a character, I'm assuming a Japanese character, over part of the middle of Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. Yes. Okay. You're right. Yes. Memory, goldfish.
Excellent job for a goldfish memory. That was incredible.
Hey, thank you. Thanks. Yeah. Listen, I kind of like that. I feel like my ego, it's getting a little bit big right now. Like, I'm pretty proud of myself.
Okay, well, I'll try to my best to be meaner, but
okay.
Shut up while I do this whole scene here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, sir. All yes, right.
Sir. No, sir. Okay, so Leland complains about the cold, meeting in this high rise. He suggests that they should meet at a French restaurant next time. The two Russians tell him that this would be a balmy day in Samara. Leland says, yeah, it's perfect Chechnyans kidnap a preschool weather. Leland asks the Japanese man to at least pretend to be cold. And the elderly Chinese lady sitting on some pallets starts to laugh and speak in Mandarin with no interpreter for the rest of them. Leland makes a racist assumption that the Japanese man, Nobu, might understand what she said. So one of the Russians calls him out on that. The man in the suit from earlier, Wesley, arrives a little late. Leland complains that his employer better be behind him. And the suit, Wesley, states that his employer wanted to send his apologies to Madame Gao in particular, addressing the Chinese lady. The Russians are pissed as well and calling the suit a lapdog. But when they go to say the employer's name aloud, he stops them and says, "We don't say his name." When Wesley asks the Russians why they're short on their payments, they explain that the recent incident with the masked vigilante on the docks is what stopped it. The man in black. Leland says he's glad to hear that there's some new blood running around. Heroes and their consequences are why we have our current opportunities. And he just wants to talk numbers. But the suit wants to know more about the vigilante. They explain that he took all their men out while they were loading the shipping container. Madame Gao says, did she asks if he took the women for himself. And they said, no, he let the women go. How did he take out all your men? He beat them with his bare hands. They seem doubtful. The suit insists that the Russians had been, if they'd been there themselves, they could have prevented this, and his employer will be very displeased that there's an inconvenience all because of a lone vigilante. The Russians say that that his employer should tell that to their faces. The suit demands that they deal with it quietly, and Anatoly, of the two Russians, suggests that maybe they sit down with the man in black and break bread and solve their problems the way he does. Leland steps in and suggests that everybody, it would be in their best interest if the Union-Allied issue be tied up quickly, as quickly as possible. And Wesley repeats that they're handling it. So all these different crime boss characters, this is clearly like a meeting of the heads of a bunch of things going on here. What did you think of this scene?
They got he who shall not be named, old Voldemort over here. He's got his fingers in a lot of pies. Mm-hmm. He's just all over in that crime pie, just fingering it up. I'm gonna do some human trafficking, some drug stuff, some money laundering, some just fucking around and finding out. So I'm gonna, you know what? Here, I'm gonna build a preschool or something. Like, he's all over in it.
It makes you think of what other kings had their fingers in pie-wise back in the day when kings were like a regular thing. I mean, did I say kings? Did I say? Oh no. I mean, we had the employer. We don't know who this guy is or whether his name might be Wilson and
Voldemort. Voldemort, Voldemort, ooh, Voldemort.
Harry Potter. Yeah, it's clear that he has a lot going on. He has a big control of this city and his anonymity. Anonymity is very important, as obviously they don't even say his name aloud on this remote, unfinished high rise. So,
And in this whole episode, they never say his name. Like he is a force to be reckoned with in this pilot episode. You know what the big bad is going into it, and you just hear his voice at the very end. You don't hear his name. You don't hear anything else about him. You just my employer.
mm-hmm. And it really is like those comic book fans, or maybe those who would watch the Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s, like if you didn't see either of those, many people watching this for the first time would have never heard of Kingpin, would have never heard of Wilson Fisk. So it really is a way to keep him kind of mysterious. But it's just in any case, it certainly keeps him very intimidating, and scary to even those of us who know who the hell they're talking about.
Yeah. I just had a whole like crisis of not identity or anything, but just like I was like, when me, as someone who didn't grow up with these comic books or these toys or anything or animated series,
yeah,
I was like, when was the first time I learned about Kingpin? And I was like, there's no way it was. But no, I think
Michael
it was
Clark Duncan in the Ben
yeah,
Affleck movie.
Yep, yeah. I'm pretty sure because I thought for a second it might be what's the first Spider-Verse movie?
Oh, Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't just throw what are those parts of speech? What are those? The above.
I was gonna say prefix,
below,
but that's not.
Over.
Into, under. Over.
Yeah, what are they called?
My wife's a lit major. I don't know.
I teach English.
I think you taught math.
Prepositions. There we go. Sorry.
Prepositions.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can't just throw the prepositions around. Yeah, I do. I used to teach mostly math, but then the co-teacher who I love working with so much is an English teacher, and so now I teach mostly English. I only have one math class a day.
Well,
yeah, I know.
I mean, if you're a fan of math more than English, I'm not going to hold it against you.
I am a fan of math more, but not the way that they teach math now. It's gotten stupid.
Let me ask you this. My mother-in-law asked how they're teaching her grandson in grade 1 to do like addition and subtraction vertically. And when I was a kid, they would cross out one digit to, go into the other, blah, blah, blah. Like if
to
you
borrow.
Were doing 10 minus 9, how would you get there? And to teach a kid in first grade. And she said that they didn't teach him this, how to borrow from. And I was like, I mean, maybe he just wasn't paying attention for that, but I don't know. I can't speak
to early grades. I mean, but I mean, yeah.
If there's a better way to teach it, I don't know what the hell it is.
Oh, there's not. The way we learned was the best way, and everything since then has been bullshit. And that is how I know I'm old.
I was gonna say, and that applies to all subjects. And don't ever try to tell me otherwise.
I learned it the best way. I am the best. Everything that came after me is just bad recreations trying to be me. So, the fart noise always doesn't come up on the recording. So just know that was a fart noise.
I saw it. I saw it happen. There were flecks of spit and everything. Now she's getting subconscious. Self-conscious? Subconscious. She's getting subconscious. I'm stupid. All right. Next scene. In the middle of the night, Karen sneaks out of Matt's apartment to retrieve the flash drive containing a copy of the pension file. Rance, the assassin that we saw that was kind of keeping an eye on that cop's daughter, is lying in wait and attempts to kill Karen. After taking the drive, Matt has followed her in his Man in Black attire and fights Rance. They tussle in the apartment for a while. Matt bests him at every turn, flipping Rance over, throwing him into the wall, and out of frustration, they go flying through a window. They bounce down the fire escape into the alleyway, and on the concrete and in the rain, Matt has a flashback before getting up. He remembers a time as a boy, after he was blinded, that he fallen asleep while studying, and his dad came home and woke him up. And I can only assume that his dad was coming from a boxing match, but he tells him that he never used to study, and look where it got him. And then he takes an ice pack out of the fridge, takes it off his face, and holds his son's hands up to his face to feel the swollen bruises and the dripping blood. And he says, "Come on, Matty, get to work." And that echoes. You hear "get to work." And Matt, in present day, is getting up from the alleyway concrete, up in the rain, rising back to his feet to fight Rance again. Slowly coming down the stairs, Rance comes down the fire escape to finish the fight, and Matt lets the devil out. Rance goes for the knife one last time, and Matt knows every move. He even clocks the fancy Winter Soldier knife drop move that Rance tries to do from one hand to the other in mid-grapple. He ducks, he blocks, he breaks Rance's arms. He hears a nearby chain against some scaffolding, and he uses it to wrap him up and knocks him out. Karen looks on, though she doesn't recognize Matt. He promises to get the drive into the right hands, and she yells after him, saying, "You can't take it to the police. You can't trust anyone." And he says, "Then we'll tell everyone," by delivering the assassin and the flash drive to the steps of the New York Bulletin. What'd you think of this action-packed, gritty, violent scene in the dead of night with the Man in Black?
I want to hear what you think first. Because my first thought is kind of, it's not stupid. It's just a little bit like, that's what you focused on. And I did.
I think that this being a grittier, this is a street level, martial arts character. I think they did this really well. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I think that it probably one day ended up inspiring how they do some fight sequences and choreography in some of the MCU stuff that followed. But I loved this fight scene. It's very dark. You don't see a lot going on, but you can see that the punches land, and the knife drop to the other hand was awesome. And as we hear later, Rance is a professional, and but so is Matt. And we, to this day, still to this moment, don't know why Matt's so fucking good. But it's clearly something that he's learned in his travels and on the way to this moment, and he kicks his ass. So and also the flashback of getting a lot of inspiration from his father and learning to get to work and to not give up. Yeah, Matt's been through a lot. What'd you think?
Hell yeah. Come out the other side. As soon as she got up and started for the door, I was like, "You stupid!" Oh, I punched my mic. That's how mad I am. You stupid
I
fucking
didn't hear
woman.
it.
Oh, that was a bad one. I feel like that was pretty bad.
And I heard but it doesn't it's not like a loud thing. It's like it goes away quick. But yeah, stupid. Why is she a stupid woman?
Because there's people trying to kill you. You're going back to your apartment with no one or anything to protect you. You're not telling anyone, "Hey, I'm just gonna pop back, to get this file that everybody's after me for." Tell someone. Okay. Did I tell y'all? Yes, I did. I told y'all that my smoke detector is 11 feet off the ground. Okay. I had to last week on Wednesday, a week ago today, I had to find a ladder so that I could get up there because it was terrorizing my cat and I. I was also terrorized by this. I was home for 30 minutes.
Wait, you're breaking up. Wait for your internet to catch up.
So I had to. Okay.
Okay, now you're
internet
good.
Catch up with my brain. Am I good now?
Now go. Yeah.
Okay. So I had to find a ladder. I texted the whole 6th grade group that of teachers that I work with, and I was like, "Does anybody have a fucking ladder? I will come and pick it up. Please, 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 just let me borrow a ladder." So anyway, I got it. I did that, but before I got up on the ladder, I texted my teacher friend, and I was like, "Hey, I'm about to fucking ladder. If you don't hear from me in 30 minutes, please tell our principal that I will not be in tomorrow and maybe come over and make sure that I'm okay." Like,
Maybe.
tell somebody. If you're about to do something stupid and dangerous, tell somebody. Tell somebody. Don't just oh, goodness.
That's
Stupid
good
woman.
advice. That's good advice.
If you're if you're about to do something stupid, tell somebody. Hopefully they can convince you not to do the stupid thing. Yeah.
Many people who
But
do stupid things can't be convinced out of doing them.
but at least tell someone so that they can call medical help when you need it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, I just that is
That's
not a
something
move.
as I've reached my mid 30s, I think about more and more every day. The things that I'm doing before I do them, I go, could I die during this? A little bit. I mean it. I mean that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, put a little bit more thought into this. Do you have your phone on you? Like, I just went for a drive to the grocery store and I left my phone in the apartment and I was like, it's not that big a deal. And I'm waiting for the elevator to come up and get me and bring me down to my car. And I'm going, it might be a big deal. What if it was a big deal?
What if
You start
what if the
thinking about the
elevator
things that could
stops?
go wrong. I thought
Yeah.
about that too. I was like, what if this is the one time in the year that I've been here in this building that the elevator something goes on wrong? And yeah, there's a button to call the elevator person, but I can't tell my wife that I'm stuck in the elevator if I don't have my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
We
how long I'll be there.
we have to the elevator at my school is so old and rickety that we will like text each other when we're getting on and off the elevator
There you go. You
to
got an
make sure
elevator
that
at your
nobody gets
school?
stuck in the elevator. And there are some days that I'll take the elevator and be like, "Man, that would be a nice time to get stuck. I could just lay down and take a nap." I did that yesterday.
You just bring in like a big magnet to school to
Yeah.
hope that it fucks the elevator up. Like,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't it's padded in there. I don't know why. Don't ask me,
It's
honestly.
padded.
It's
Ooh.
padded.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So yeah, I'd be down. I could take a nap in the elevator.
Hell yeah.
I I could I could also see me just like taking a nap in the elevator and somebody calling the elevator and me just being asleep on the floor. Also very plausible some days. All right. Uh oh, all right. Sorry. Getting back on topic. We're talking about Daredevil. Um
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like the blood was a little excessive.
Mm.
So there were times last night I had an Uncrustable for dinner because I'm what an adult.
You had a what? Oh,
Uncrustable.
explain to me what that is.
It is a frozen peanut butter and jelly that is encased inside of bread, but none of the bread has crusts. Oh, I've killed Keith. What? I didn't hear what you said.
I've never heard of that before.
Oh,
Uncrustable, and it's just a PB
Uncrustable.
and J, but with
Do you
no
need
crust.
do you need me to go get one?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay, all right.
How quickly
All
can
right.
you get one? All right,
Oh, so
I'll
quick. Hold on.
I'll talk to them. I'll talk
I
to them.
just have to go to the food city. Just real quick. Just give me a second.
All right. An uncrustable. An uncrustable. I'm gonna look it up because I think the thing she's gonna show me over a camera is not gonna be as good as me getting my answers from good old Google. Uncrustable. PB and J. Oh, that looks miserable, man. That's not made with any kind of love. Smucker's Uncrustables.
Yeah.
It's a pizza pocket, but it's a PB and J.
Yeah. So this is what I had for dinner last night because I said I am an adult. Not
Oh,
sponsored.
I want to cook for you so bad.
Not sponsored.
You've made
Oh,
me
well,
want to cook for you more than any.
even if I
I
had the
want to cook
energy,
so bad.
It's not, well, no, I can't, but also, like, even if I could, I don't have the energy after school.
That's
But yeah,
fair. I get that 100%. And
that's
we always, I think, cook for others more than we're willing to cook for ourselves. Put effort into food more so for others than we will ourselves.
which is very sweet.
That's all I've noticed, anyways.
But anyway, so yeah, that's what I had for dinner last night. Yum
That
yum.
I'm sure they're delicious. I'm not trying
They
to
really, they
shit on
really
them.
are.
I just didn't know they existed until 10 seconds ago. Please let me
Y'all,
adjust.
y'all are missing out, man. They are phenomenal. But anyway, but the point I was trying to make with that was that I was eating my dinner, my 4-course, 5-star Michelin star dinner, while I was watching Daredevil, and this fight scene got to a point where I was like, oh, that's a little bit too much blood, and I did get a little queasy. So that you know what? I think that that's for no one except for me to just say that I
We're
might be
only
a
on
little bit of a
episode 1.
bitch. Yeah. I can't do blood well. I
Okay.
my okay.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
What are you thinking
my
about right now?
I know
The
my
Shining? What's happening?
my teacher friend, the besties who's she's out with strep right now. I walked the kids down to lunch and related arts, and then was walking back down the hall, and she had held on, like held a kid because he was trying to pull a tooth in the bathroom, and
Yeah.
she tried to help him pull the tooth, and I had to run, bolt away. I was like, I will throw up if I see you do that. I will absolutely 100% vomit right here on the floor.
You did the right thing. You did the right thing and you made the problem not theirs.
Not mine.
You took your vomit problem and you took it
Yeah.
away from them. They
Yeah.
had their own thing they were working on.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like, "Oh man, we can't clean up her puke too."
I know. But then they came back into our classroom, and they acted like they had put it in his backpack, and because I was like, I don't my notebook says penis.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you live.
I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it at all.
You block your face with a notebook that says penis on the other side, and this happened in the actual moment, right?
Yeah. Yes. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to see it. And they were like, oh no, it's in his backpack. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was about to eat my lunch. A lean cuisine, chicken enchilada suiza, same thing every day. I am who I am. And
Sounds great though.
it is
You picked a good
delicious.
one.
But yeah. And
That
then he
I'd
showed me the
take that
tooth,
over
and
the
I almost threw up again.
Uncrustable. Oh, say that
Yeah.
part again. Sorry, I talked over.
That he well, I'm sorry. I paused for a long time because I forgot what I was saying. I got focused on the lean cuisine. I put the notebook or the paper or whatever it was that was shielding me down, and he showed me the tooth, and I almost threw up again, which is great. It's great. I love working with 6th grade. They still lose bones out of their mouth.
Yeah, my goodness, I forgot. I didn't realize 6th grade was still losing teeth. Must be the last couple, I guess.
I didn't.
So
either.
I didn't even realize that this is how desensitized I am to it. I didn't even realize this fight scene had any visible blood. Um, so I was like, oh, they're in the rain, and there's probably like rain dripping off of their faces when they're fighting each
Oh,
other. But I didn't realize there was that much blood. My bad.
it was
My
red
bad.
rain though. It was like
Ah,
the drips were, especially whenever they fall out of the window,
oh yeah.
and he's picking himself up off the concrete, and it just
In
it's
slow mo.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, here's the
All right.
next scene. You ready?
Yes.
A few days later, the Union Allied story is front page news in the bulletin. Over the phone, the suit, Wesley, assures his employer that the scandal won't be linked to their operation since Leland has cleared out the dirty money and the key people with evidence such as Rance and Karen's boss have all been dealt with. His employer says that Rance was a professional. How was he subdued? The suit says, sorry, I keep saying the suit. Wesley says that he's looking into it.
He's
What
a suit
about
now forever.
yeah. What about the girl? Should I make arrangements? And his employer says, no, everything she knows is already in the papers. Who are this Nelson and Murdoch? Wesley says they're they're ambulance chasers, and they're clean. He suggests that they start a file. They may be of use. Karen cooks Matt and Foggy a celebratory meal to celebrate her acquittal. Foggy says that they should be thanking the nut in the mask. Karen says he's weird, but he's not a nut. Matt changes the subject. She thanks them for helping her, and Matt says, all you did was tell the truth. She says, yeah, but you listened. And she tries to share this look with him. He goes on eating, and she kind of looks down, reminded that she can't do that with him. It's almost like she can't remember that he's blind. It's like it's just too spooky that he seems to know shit that a blind person wouldn't. But anyways, Foggy says they're still going to bill her, and Karen offers to work at Nelson and Murdoch and clean the place up a bit. Matt, pretending to be shocked, says, is this place messy? She offers to work for free, and Foggy instantly hires her on the spot. The camera backs out to reveal a cardboard sign, Nelson and Murdoch, on the door. Cutting to... Okay, what did you think of this scene first before I go to the last one?
Oh, just I love the setting up of the law firm. It gave me... Did you ever watch Franklin and Bash?
I didn't, but I've heard of it.
Okay. It gave me those vibes,
yeah.
Which I absolutely loved that show. I think it was short-lived. It had Kumail Nanjiani.
Breckenmeyer was one of them.
Breckenmeyer and
yeah, I liked him a lot from, I think it was Road Trip or something.
And the guy who plays the preppy guy that everybody loves in Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his fake name or his real name.
Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, Zach Morris. Yeah, I love him. Yeah, he's great. He was in NYPD Blue right when my dad was stopping watching the show. He was like, "Oh, your buddy Zach Morris is in this now." I'm like, "What?"
It's a glowing endorsement. But no, I like lawyery shows.
Yeah,
like Franklin and Bash, which Franklin and Bash was hilarious and awesome, and I really enjoyed that show, and it was giving me those vibes of two friends that just are gonna fuck around and find out and have a great time. And they have Jessica Hamby, whose real name I will never know, as their Kumail Nanjiani. I know that real name. It's something Wall.
Now you got me looking up Franklin and Bash.
Oh no, I'm talking about the whoever Karen Page is gonna be the Kumail Nanjiani to
okay.
Nelson and Murdoch's Franklin and Bash.
Is
the comparison I'm trying to make. Anywho, from a show that is probably even older than Daredevil. I don't know. Anyway,
undoubtedly they might have been running at the same time, but yeah, I think Franklin and Bash probably came first.
But yeah, I love the camaraderie and the friendship. Yeah. That's all I was trying to say.
It's a good trio.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
My wife, we got to the end of the episode, and I wouldn't even say we, because she watched like fragments of it in my second watching of the episode to take notes and stuff. She was like, isn't there already a lawyer superhero? I was like, that's She-Hulk you're thinking of. Daredevil comes first. Like, She-Hulk is also a lawyer, yes, but there's so many superheroes that, yes, two of them can be lawyers. And she's like, that seems ridiculous. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
She's like, how many of them work at grocery stores? I was like, fuck off. But yeah, it's a great point. Great point. No superheroes work at grocery stores.
That we know of.
That we know of. Great point. Great point. We cut to Matt goes to Fogwell's gym, the old boxing gym where his father would train, and he does some late night bag punching. And we get a bit of a montage at this point. So Leland is cleaning up the finances. Yeah, I said bag punching. Officer Farnham. Leland's doing a bit of cleaning up the finances. Officer Farnham is discovered dead in his basement by his daughter, who comes home to do some laundry. His death is staged as a suicide. Rance has
Oh.
hung himself in the jail cell with a bed sheet, staged again as a suicide. We see the criminal enterprise is continuing unabated. Madame Gao is overseeing some kind of drug operation with people that have been chemically blinded in some way for a purpose. Nobu is looking over some blueprints of Hell's Kitchen. The guy from the shipping yard at the beginning is upgrading from a taser to some guns and looks very excited about it. And the Russians are pulling up in a van to a man and his son in a car, beating the father and kidnapping the boy. And we cut to Matt on a rooftop, listening to Hell's Kitchen, listening as the vigilante in the suit, the man in black, and hearing the sound of a child calling out for his father while being abducted, and pulls his mask down over his eyes. Time to go to work.
What's happening? I'm sorry. I got to pull my mask down.
You're getting your mask over your eyes? Okay, here we go. For those not watching us on YouTube, you're really missing out, because this is where vigilantes are born. And here we have one. My goodness. I'm quaking in my boots just looking at it. It is something. I'm scared for both me and Emmy. And the criminals of Tennessee.
Yeah, you better watch out, fuckers. Okay.
What did you think of this smashing conclusion?
I mean, it resolved a lot from the first episode very quickly, and I can appreciate that. Daredevil is wearing absolute dad shoes. Like, this is what dad would wear to mow the lawn, do the grilling, like dad shoes to go to the boxing ring. I'm sorry.
Oh, to the boxing ring, not on the rooftop in the.
I didn't see his shoes on the rooftop. If they're the same shoes, they're still dad shoes.
He wouldn't let the cameraman come that close. He was like, no, you don't get to see this.
Gotta Heisman that.
You can never know what shoes I wear.
Yeah.
If I can't see him, you can't. That's what he thinks.
Yeah. Yeah. Hundo. What? Boxing wraps. I have boxing wraps. I used to do kickboxing before the old Parthenon kicked off and did all that stuff, and I was like, I don't want to be anywhere near anybody breathing, period.
Yeah, fair.
And I should honestly go back, because it did help get some of my feminine rage out.
There you go. Sometimes
you just need
a thing to punch. Yeah.
But like, if I handed you boxing wraps, first of all, do you understand how fucking long those motherfuckers are? And second of all, would you know how to put them on your hands?
Nope. Neither. No to both questions.
Okay.
I took karate when I was 12 to 13, and I gave it up before getting to the level of belt with the weapons, where we would have got to learn how to use weapons, because
Probably
heard that there was an art class that I could take with a guy who used to work for Disney, and I had the option: continue with karate or take that. And I took the art lessons and then quit them within 4 months, because I was the only 14-year-old in a room full of 30 and older people, and very uncomfortable. And I wasn't learning anything except how to basically fan the flame of broken dreams. It wasn't helpful. That's what I'm saying. And I never went back to karate. I should have. I wish I did.
But I love that you took that leap of faith and you were like, I love art. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it.
Those listening, absolutely follow your dreams.
Unless
but look
they're
into it more.
A bunch of
30-year-olds. It was. I want to say it was older than 30. I was probably, as a kid, thinking that 30 was old at the time. But no, being
you were actually 60.
There were people in their 40s plus, and I was just. It was weird, because they'd be like, "Okay, let's loosen up our hands by drawing circles in a row," and I was like, "This is a waste of paper. What are you doing? Stop teaching me how to draw circles. I already know how." And I was like, "Yeah."
You said circles. I heard turtles, and I was like, "That sounds wholesome as fuck."
Let's all draw turtles. Let's do the turtle exercise where we draw a bunch of turtles in a row.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Loosen up your hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
I usually loosen up my hands a different way.
Yeah. I was 14. But the my hands were loose. No, but the you said how long? Like, does anyone know how long what'd you say? A boxing rap?
Like boxing raps, like the
and how to put them on properly? No clue.
Yeah,
no clue.
Well, and I'm not sure that I even know how to put them on properly, but someone showed me one time, and I was like, "This is you are God, and this
Seems
is
right.
now the new commandment."
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to. So there's a thumb loop, and then you wrap it around your wrist 5 times, and then you do crissy crossies. That's not what the person said.
That's
whenever
a technical
I did
term.
it.
No,
You
that
do
sounds
crissy
surgical.
crossies over your palm, but it truly if you have to have support like on your wrist and on your fist whenever you're doing boxing like that, because I mean, even with that support, I would like come home with like the jack off muscle, honestly, was like the muscle that like really would hurt, and just like even just putting the compression on it of the wraps would be enough to like help that pain.
Oh, good. Good.
I
I'm
was
glad that the wraps helped your jack off muscle.
Yeah. The wraps.
Yeah, I never punched a thing enough to know the damage it could do to your wrist. I'm sure it would be bad. Yeah. So if you're ever punching or taking boxing lessons, wrap your fucking wrists and arms and hands.
Wait,
everything.
You got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What's the 6? It's off camera. I couldn't see it.
Oh, the 6 is it's an uppercut from the non-dominant hand.
Oh,
from the penis. Boom.
Right.
That's a 6.
Down under. See, you went Australian without even doing an accent.
Nar.
Nar.
Sorry. But yeah, they're also very, very long. So the crissy crossy bit is it's time consuming. But yeah, I haven't done that in like a few years, and I should probably go back. Maybe that's why I'm so angry all the time.
Maybe this show will be the thing that gets you back into. Was it boxing specifically, or?
It was kickboxing. So you would do a little bit. You'd do a kicky, and then you do a boxy,
both
and then
Hitmonchamp and Hitmonlee.
And yeah.
Nice.
But then they would also, like, at the end of the hour, they would get you down on the floor and you do some Abby. Dear Abby's.
Is Abby okay after all that? Or?
Abby, are you okay?
My goodness.
It was like a workout thing. It was for fitness. And I was like, I can already fitness dick.
Oh no.
Sorry. I tried to stop it. It still came out.
That's what she said. Or he, I'm not sure. Came out.
Yes. Whoever wants to fitness.
Whoever wants to fitness.
Nope. Stop that one.
What'd you think of this episode as a whole?
As a whole.
Don't. I mean, I regretted the way I asked that question already.
Okay. Well, okay. I did have one more note. I'm very sorry. Thank you for getting us back on track. I am to the point in my night where I'm like, doof, sparkle, squirrel.
We're both there.
Yeah. Okay. Who was that guy? Had we seen that guy before? I have
the man whose son was taken.
Yeah, and was it just the son? I thought it was both the kids.
Was there 2 kids? I think it's just one. I think it's just the boy, and I think that it's kind of reminding Matt of like, okay, father son thing that we've seen earlier in the episode with him and his dad. But I don't know that we know who the man is yet. I cannot remember if we do learn that it's someone important, but I do know that they're stealing the boy to try and maybe draw out the man in the black. So
Okay.
Yeah, next episode will tell all, I'm sure.
I'm glad that he heard that happen, because before he heard that happen, I was like, oh, like there's there's bad human trafficking, and then you put kids into the equation, and it's like,
Yeah.
are you fucking
Yeah. No, it's a totally different level.
like,
I agree.
yeah. And I also wanted to say that we did say Echo a couple times this episode, and I just think it's interesting that Daredevil was in her show. I think that she should be in his show whenever it comes back. I just think it's interesting. They just
I
share
agree.
a lot. Yeah.
I agree. It would be, it's one of those things where it's like there's a few characters that I'd like to see come back in Daredevil when Daredevil Born Again comes out, and one of the characters from the MCU, anyways, would be Echo, 100%. I want to see Fisk. I want to see Echo. And there's a few other people that we haven't met in the Netflix universe that I'd like to see come back as well.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but I would like to see She-Hulk come back, at least for a second.
That would, the same way that we, and what would really be nice if they kept it a fucking surprise, because
Yes.
no one needed to know that Daredevil was going to be in the She-Hulk series. A lot of people, I think, had a bad taste in their mouth in the, what was it, 9 episodes total? 7 episodes they're waiting to see Daredevil. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should be either way, whether you knew or not, but just don't tell us. You don't need to tell us. Just show us the show, and when they show up, that'd be awesome. Because like my wife said, they're both lawyers. How many fucking lawyers can they be, right?
Was that 9 episodes? She-Hulk? There's no way.
Was it not 8 or 9? I thought it was one of those ones that was like 9 30-minute episodes, or like shorter.
I don't know.
How many episodes?
I thought it was only 6 or 7.
Oh, it was definitely more than 6. 6 was a typical like 35-minute runtime. Yeah, there were 9 episodes, shorter length.
Oh,
but more episodes, and it's either that or it's like 40 to 35 to 40 minutes episodes at 6, or 20-minute episodes at 9 each. And that seems to be like a one or the other kind of way of doing things. But anyway.
But now we're going to get Daredevil Born Again with who knows how long, at 13 episodes?
I think it is. I think it's at 13. Hopefully 13 45-minute episodes would be amazing. But
yeah, I'd be down. I'd be game. But anyway, sorry, you were trying to ask me how I felt about the episode overall. And I am derailing everything because I is who I is.
How the end of these things go. It's okay.
Right? Yeah, we get further and further off the rails. And I don't know what it possibly could be. What could be the reason why we go off the rails so much?
It's just the nature of the night itself and how it grasps us all differently and violently. With
yeah, violently.
Blood and rain. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You really got to check out the YouTube, guys, if you haven't seen the visuals that we're doing right now.
I am a prop comedian. No, I'm not. I haven't had any
problem
props.
or a prop. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I'm a problem too. But no, okay. This episode, I think it set it up perfectly. I'm totally invested. I can't wait to keep watching. I am gonna try to do this like I did Echo, where I'm just gonna do week by week.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to ruin anything like for future me. I don't want to ruin anything for past me.
Please do it that way, because we'll break down the episodes way better when you don't know what's going to happen in the following one. So that's great.
And it's cool. I'm excited that we have two perspectives here, that you've seen it all and probably mostly remember. Oh, okay.
No, it was so long ago now that it's like, this is great to rewatch and get right back into watching it twice in 1 week, once to enjoy it, once to take notes and enjoy it. It is refreshing. It's very new to me still. So.
Yeah. Well, what did you think about this episode? Was there anything that you completely forgot about and like we were like, holy fucking shit? Whoa.
I forgot how stylized it is. It's really got a lot of cool style that you don't see in a lot of other shows that Marvel's made. Even the other Netflix shows. Like they all have their own individual style, which is very unique and very different. And the MCU ones do too. The Disney Plus shows do the same thing, but I don't know. Daredevil just always stands out as this really well done superhero show from jump, from the first episode. It's really cool, and to there's no way to. Other shows feel rushed, whereas this one takes its time and it gives moment to breathe and shows you the character the way God intended, according to the Catholic Church. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's just good times. It's really a nice. I wouldn't even say slow burn, because we got a huge, violent, awesome out of the gate episode and covered a lot of ground. It's a good pace. Yeah, I'd say a lot more shows should take their notes from how this one was done.
It's a good different beat of a drum. Like it's a good different way to go.
Yeah. When I say the Goldilocks principle, I will coin and write an essay on this. We've had too cold, we've had too hot, and now this is how to do a show just right. So I'll keep saying that.
All right.
Yeah, you did this like it was too stinky. I didn't mean. Oh, you were fanning yourself. Okay, cool. No, yeah, too hot. Yeah. I got the vapors.
Like Pedro.
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe I did do this. I don't know. Who knows? All right. So I guess that is going to call it a wrap for us. Wait, I do closing remarks, and then I do post credits names, right? Or is it the other way around?
Hey, don't ask me. This is
no.
I mean,
all right, I'm gonna do closing remarks, and then we'll do some post credit names, because I do have two and they're amazing. And since this is the first episode, I'm gonna give you both, and then I'm gonna have to scrape the bottom of the barrel to get the rest of them. So like at least we're starting on a strong note. But anyway, so is there anything else you want to say, Keith, before I start wrapping it up and giving all our socials and all that fun stuff?
I cannot wait for us to review episode 2, because I know of one specific thing in it that I cannot wait to talk about, and I'm excited for your take on it. So I am so incredibly grateful that we're talking about this show, that we're doing this show, and I hope people enjoy it. And I hope it's been a long break since the show came out, that people are excited to revisit it, especially with the new Daredevil Born Again coming out. So I'm very happy, very excited. Those are my closing spiel.
Very excited too. All right. Well, we have been the Abingers podcast. Like I said at the beginning, you can find us basically anywhere at the Abingers podcast. That's ABINGERS. I don't think I did that at the beginning, but here we are. Yeah, at the Abingers podcast. If you want to monetarily provide for the show, we love that. You can go to patreon.com/the Abingers podcast. And $1 a month gets you our Discord and a little pre-show, a little of us warming up, here and there, and sharing some cool deets. That's not cool. And
I haven't heard deets in a while.
Some cool deets about our lives, man, bro.
Get all our deets at
fam.
Patreon. Yeah.
Good Lord. I should have prepared for this. This is abhorrent. All right. If you want a free way to support our show, you can like us, rate us, review us on your podcast platform of choice. It's a great way to get eyes and ears on our show. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Pornhub. No, not that one. That was a lie. At Abingers Podcast. That is one word. ABINGERS.
Podcast.
Again, I'm starting to get into a loop. But yeah, follow us wherever. All right, I've got some credits names.
Woo!
Do you, Keith, want to hear them?
I do, as Keith, want to hear them, and I'm excited to laugh. Here we go. Putting my laughing cap on.
I am very proud of these ones. And
Okay.
Brandon, I'm speaking to you directly right now. Nobody else is going to hear this. I need you to tell me whether or not you laughed at these. I need you to privately message me and
Wait, you're
say,
freezing up again.
hey,
Hold
good
on.
job, or hey, fuck you, bitch.
Okay.
No,
Brandon. In case she freezes, I'll say them a second time. I'll be like her Ed McMahon. I know nobody listening knows who the fuck that is, but Ed McMahon would repeat everything Johnny Carson would say in a lot of bits. So I'm going to say it the second time, and we're both hoping that it makes Brandon laugh. Okay, go ahead, Emmy.
Just private message me. Let me know. Is it funny?
Private message her. Just
it
her.
Is...
I don't want to hear about it.
Hey. All right.
Kidding.
Unit production manager
is
the worst job I think I ever want. It's Jill Footlick.
Jill Footlick. That's her real name.
That's her name. Footlick, and it is spelled exactly Footlick.
Wow.
Footlick.
I wonder if she ever heard about it.
And this is the best title for this name. Our best boy grip.
Best boy
Divine.
grip.
Divine Cox. Not just great, divine.
I smell some nepotism here. I think that Charlie might have got somebody to be the best boy grip. Ramos family. Nepa baby. Just saying. If you see two cocks on one production, that might be what's going on.
Do you think that's his fluffer? The best boy grip is like a nice euphemism for fluffer?
No, I think they're related. Why would you have him fluff?
Oh no. All right. Well, this has been Abingers. We've been Keith and Emmy.
I wish we
could
get
around
hearts.
And finding out. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I
you
know.
can. You can.
No, I can't.
You have the Zoom call thing.
No, I can't. I don't have the powers.
Back up.
No, none of us do. You back up,
bitch. Do the thumbs? Wow, what the hell? It can't happen. That's so weird. I thought you had the login and it would make you have the powers. Oh well.
No, I think he's got like an updated version of Zoom or something.
Oh, son of a
Brandon
bitch.
in his fancy Zoom or something. Anyway, that's been us, and this is our that about that. Welcome to Daredevil. Buckle up, fuckers. Nope, that's just for Patreon.
Buckle up, shitters. Take it out.
All right. Keith, do you have any final words?
No, that was it. Just take it out, buckle up, shitters.
Okay. Da-da, 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 da-da.